Hey, what is up, everyone? It is Odin here, your friendly neighborhood Odin, as it were. Um, was drawing, but also had a subject for a video topic. The subject is an anniversary of sorts. I do have my daughters here. I tried to make this video a second ago. I got barged in on, and I thought about keeping it because it was kind of cute. But anyway, they're busy screwing around, doing whatever they're doing. But I was like, I'll make this video real quick because I've been meaning to. Because today is a 1 year anniversary of. So you get these notifications on Facebook called memories, memories, and I got one of those memories. It says a year ago on this day, or 10 years ago on this day. This one happened to be a year ago, but it'll be like, you said this or you did this, and you're like, holy shit, I did, didn't I? Yeah. um, but this wasn't a holy shit I did. It was a. Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a big moment, actually. So most people that know me know, or have watched my videos know that I was the lead singer in lots of heavy metal bands, but the last one I was in, the trajectory was going up and up and up, and we were doing really well. And this personal Facebook page turned into an explosion of promotion for for the band. And before I knew it, I had thousands of friends. A lot of them I didn't know, but I would say 95% were through music, whether fans, other band members, uh, people who promote shows, or venue owners, all kinds of shit, sound engineers, what have you. Lots of fans too, and a lot of them I knew pretty close, more or less. Like came to a lot of the shows. We had some pretty hardcore fans that were there anytime they could at the local scene. They didn't come to a lot of the outside of town ones, but sometimes they would. They would drive with us. It was crazy. Um, and you get to know them on like a first name basis on a semi personal level. But with the band trajectory going that way, it took its toll on personal life, and ended up getting a divorce from my daughter's mom, basically around uh, that toll that was being taken. So when that happens, you reevaluate things, right? And I definitely did. And I went, you know what? I thought I was kind of Superman. I was doing a band. I was working full time. I was working on a homestead. I was like doing so much, but I was kind of like spreading myself super thin, and failing at the most important things. And I realized it. And it took that splash in the face to help that. But, so while I was weighing what was going on with my life and how I wanted to proceed post divorce, I was still in the band, and it kind of leaked that I was divorced. And to a lot of the female community out there, that meant that I was available in their eyes. So, what was that term? Sliding into DMs. There was a lot of that. Well, they weren't sliding; they were just like straight up barging. But it was subtle enough. Most of it was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear what you're going through. If you ever need someone to talk to." It was a lot of that. A lot of random. I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, you don't even know who I am. I'm just a dude on a stage as far as you're concerned. So, yeah, that was kind of weird, and I was actually a bit put off by it. It's flattering, sure, but at the time, it's not what I wanted, um, and that was almost a lot of what sealed the deal. And then the weirder part was like it was a personal page at one time, so then get girls commenting on pictures of my kids and being like, "Oh, you're such a great dad," and I'm like, no shit about me. Your kids are beautiful. I'm like, shut the fuck up about my kids. Who are you? So it was a lot of that, and so I ended up just walking away. And when I did, I didn't look back. And that Facebook page lie dormant for 6 years. So during that 6 years, focused on my children, and really just kind of hunkered down, almost hermit like, and I just went, Where once it was like a spotlight kind of life, and then it was like, no, just focus on your shit and don't worry about everything else. And it was good. It was a really important time in my life. But that said, during that, I started picking up the pen again. I said, we need to do one other creative pursuit. I've drawn my whole life, but it's hard to do a whole lot when you're as busy as I was with music. And so I was like, okay, now's the time. I'm going to go back to. Because when I was in high school, I didn't think I would be in a band, which I would have thought was really cool, but I didn't ever think that. I was trying to get some bands going, but it wasn't really a big thing. I was way more thinking I would be a comic book artist someday. And so I was like, go back to that first passion, and that one won't take the same toll on your family, So anyway, as I did that, I got this idea that I wanted to make an independent book. And I realized that this Facebook page had thousands of people. Among those, there had to be at least some that were comic book fans. And I said, and even the ones that aren't, the ones that are very supportive of you and would be, one, happy to hear from you, because I did just kind of like cut everybody off, and I don't know if that was the right move. It felt like the right move. Kind of like cold turkey. Like, I thought if I entertained the idea, I might not have focused as hard as I did on the important things that I had to take care of. So yeah, but I knew there were some people who really were mentally and emotionally somewhat invested, in my life. So they would be excited to hear that I was doing something, I was doing good. And so I made this post, a long post. I figured, being absent for six years, I should kind of like explain myself a little bit. And it kind of sounded like Stan Lee, like making a post after getting out of the hospital or something. He's like, "Hello, dear friends. It's your old pal Odin." Greetings, true believers. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. And it was met with all positivity, and everybody was really happy to hear I was doing good and that I was working on this. And I attached the first ever Unconditional Shove image, this one here. And this thing skews it so his legs look all like small, so you gotta do it like that. Otherwise his legs look like itty bitty leggies. Oh, it froze my computer. You get to see this the rest of the time. That was the very first thing I ever drew for Unconditional Shove. And I attached this on the post, and it was I basically went into it. I had a few ideas, and then I was like, just draw something that you think is going to look badass. It's going to make people, because that's always the thing. Like, if I look at a Frank Frazetta image, I already see a story. I'm like, this image is so fantastic and interesting that I see a story. So I was like, and this is nothing like Frank Frazetta, and don't get me wrong there. But I was like, just knowing what you're good at drawing, what your skills are, draw a cool image and let that like spark an idea and then write a story around that. And that was the start of it. And I thought it was going to be an ongoing story, but then I shifted gears and went, I don't want to draw the same thing or write the same thing forever. I wanted to I've always been better at short stories. I've always preferred short stories. So I was like, just do short stories, do an anthology. So that's what the direction went. But anyway, for the longest time, this was the image that I was like, hey, I'm working on something. This is what it looks like. And so I attached that, and I got lots of comments. That looks badass, exciting to hear. I can't wait for your book. I'll definitely get it. And just good to hear from you. And we missed you and all this kind of stuff. So it was really cool. But that was like coming out to the world and being, and I did the same thing with Twitter, but it wasn't like a big announcement. And that one was just kind of like eased back in. Yeah, and that was kind of because I'd been working on it for a little bit, but it was like, that was when I came out. Come on. That's when I exposed myself to the world. Yeah, no, it's So yeah, I thought that was a cool anniversary. I thought I'd talk about it a little bit. Other than that, doing good. Was working on this page. I was gonna show. I guess you could see it earlier in the video, but yeah. So here we are, 1 year later. It got me thinking about what can happen in a year too. Because in that post, I mentioned being engaged and how excited I was about that, and that's no longer a reality. Um, and that post was this time last year, and little did I know, in 5 months, almost, a little more than 5 months, my dad was going to pass away. I didn't know that was going to happen at that time either. I didn't know that a friend of mine a former friend of mine, was going to accuse me of stealing ideas and then go on a verbal assault rampage all across social media, calling me a piece of shit, a bitch, basically the world would be better if I just left it, kind of stuff. And like I said, needless to say, we're not friends anymore. But I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know I was going to meet a fella named with a YouTube channel named 80s Made Consumer and start live streaming with him. That's been a different thing, Never thought that was going to happen. So all these things, some of them quite devastating, like my father especially. Being engaged and not, that's pretty big. All these things are pretty big, momentous things. All happened within a year's time from that post. And it made me think of, 'cause I like to glean philosophy wherever I can get it. I think the best place is like silly comedies. No. But I was watching Black Sheep the other day. The David Spade, Chris Farley movie that's not as good as Tommy Boy. There was a scene with Chris Farley, top of a mountain. And I mean, he's very content. He's looking out, he's admiring the landscape, the beauty. There's trees, there's mountains, there's an eagle flying, there's the sun shining. He's just like, ah. Instantly, the ground gives way. Ah! He's tumbling down the mountain, doing these barrel rolls, just getting jacked up, tore up. Finally, he grabs a shrub, and he's holding on for dear life. Taking a breath. Thank you, shrubs. He's thanking the shrub. He's like, please hold strong. And, he's big and fat, so he's like pulling himself up. Then the roots give way. Back down, tumbling. Just rolling down the mountain until he hits the bottom. Finally, solid ground. No more tumbling. And he gets up, he's just destroyed. I mean, in real life, would be like a full body bruise, if not a concussion and brain damage. You never know. But in the movie, he's just jacked up and he's wheezing and coughing. And he looks up, dusts himself off. He looks up at the top of the mountain where he once was, way up there, and he tumbled all the way down. And he's like, what the hell was that all about? Such is life, man. I talk about it so much. Peaks and valleys, hills and meadows, valleys, whatever. And the thing is, when you're at the top, you gotta. my kids are making some weird ass noises playing a video game. When you're at the top, you're enjoying it. You just don't even comprehend. And sometimes you get savvy to it. You go, okay, it's gonna happen. But there was Chris Farley, just like, this is beautiful. Blah. And yeah, you get to the bottom and you look up and you're like, what the hell was that all about? Well, sometimes you're at the top, sometimes you're at the bottom. Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar, well, it eats you. That is life. And so whenever I leave at the end of these videos, because I am going to wrap this up, I say, I hope you're doing pure awesome, whether you're up, whether you're down, wherever you're at in life, that you just have some perspective on it and know, just like in Black Sheep, that wasn't the end of the story. Like he went on to get his brother elected as governor of Washington. That was just part of the story. And that's the thing. When you're in the mire, it's just part of your story. And it really is your story. And what are you going to pull from that? What are you going to glean that's going to make you stronger and more capable? So as you go on from that falling down moment, that you're not, staying there. Because you're going to get back up there, and you're going to go down, and you're going to go up. You know, it's just sometimes you tumble further, sometimes you don't tumble as far. But it is life, so, you know, like I said, a year ago, I didn't know that all these things were going to be different. But that's it. I'm happy. You know, sure, I want my dad back. Sure, I didn't want to go through some of the mistakes and things that I've gone through, but it's all part of it. So try to keep perspective. And that's the thing. Just be excellent through it all as much as possible. Try to be excellent and awesome everything you do. And yeah, if you can do that, you'll be all right. So don't get too high, don't get too low. Just know it's all part of your story. And remember, make it an awesome story. Anyway, all that said, this is Odin, and I'm going to let you go. But until next time, see ya.